Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we are currently needing to do a couple of repairs. Let's just tick on forward, but I do want to start winding down this series. I think we're going to be ending, like I said previously, after we get all of the Argo upgrades done. So we do have a new version of RogueTech out. I'm not 100% certain if I'm going to immediately follow this up with another RogueTech series. Probably not, to be honest. We'll see how that ends up going. I know that there are a fair amount of Paradox expansions that have recently come out, so we're probably going to need to take a look at one of those. But for now, the Epimetheus Prime can get finished up. Sure, we can play a friendly game here, and Jammer is now in high spirits. Fantastic. So that's all good. We're going to need to do some Mech Warrior training here, and let's get the Epimetheus finished up. There we go. And let's hop into our barracks and get this training done. Then we can deploy out. So we'll see what we want to grab here, but a point of gunnery for Capo is absolutely great. We'll definitely take that. What else are we interested in here? Well, that looks like a point of probably tactics for Romeo. Yeah, that seems okay. For Savarok, a point of piloting. Sounds great.
Training complete.
For Squire, you've got nothing, and for Weaselcakes, nothing. Okay, so let's hop into the command center and see what we're going to do. I would like this to be a relatively simple mission, but there's not really a reason for it. We have plenty of money. We don't need any repair time. So I guess we should go for a more difficult mission, but I'd like it to be like a single episode mission. Maybe a battle here. A Griffin is a tough mech, given the kinds of enemies we're likely to run into out here. We have to keep a Griffin alive. I don't know about that. A Griffin could get one shot at these difficulties. So let's not do that. This is an urban battle here. Blakest Heraldry. That's spooky. What is this? Local government. Okay. This isn't an urban environment, but I wouldn't mind this. Sure, we could run that straight down the middle and see what this looks like. It's only 4 skull, so in theory it shouldn't be too bad. But we'll see how many heavy bombers they have. That's the real question here, right? Well, I will see you guys after the loading screen when we'll have a good idea for that. Okay, so here we are all loaded up. That took a little while, and I also heard a helicopter, so we'll see what we've got here. It's probably going to be at least one heavy bomber, is my current theory. So they're up over there, apparently. Or actually, they're out over here. Okay, so I would like to deploy somewhere around here. Would be an interesting spot to deploy. We can just walk up this ramp to here, right? So that should be okay. If we were to deploy there, let's see what we've got. So here come our drop pods. Fantastic. Now the question is, what is actually out here? Well, we'll find out. Maybe? As soon as the game gets caught up anyway. There we go. Urban environments can be spicy. No doubt about that. Okay, so what do we got going on up over here? We know that the local government lance is here. We've not updated sensors yet. The enemy is moving first. Okay. So we have no clue what's up there right now. And there's probably a second lance, by the way. I want to throw that out there. The enemy is definitely moving first. Are we out of combat right now? We might be out of combat. That would be intriguing. I mean, it would make sense because we don't actually see any of them. But they should be right up over here. So if they get to move all of their units first, then we get to move. We'll be able to figure out what they've got. In theory. Okay, so now we're entering combat. There they are. So I do see a helicopter here, but this doesn't look like a heavy bomber. That's a Vespa. Okay, that's a Lynx, we see a Hunchback, and we see an LRM carrier. This is suspiciously non-threatening. Very suspiciously non-threatening. Our Crossbow X moves first. I'm going to take it out this way.
Moving at a sprint.
So we're just going to need to send units in each direction here. They do have high ground on us. But we'll see what ends up happening here. The Vespa is flying up over this building. Okay, that's fine. I don't believe spawn protection is a thing right now. So our Marauder, I'm going to send out this way. Actually, it must be a thing because we can't take this shot. Okay. So spawn protection is indeed a thing. Looks good. So, next up is that LRM carrier moving forward. This is very suspiciously non-threatening. I mean, this is going to be way too easy if they end up not having any backup lance. They have to, right? There has to be a backup lance out there. So the Lynx is moving down this direction. That's fine. We can send the Grasshopper up over here.
Confirmed.
And that'll be great. Phase 16, they are moving their Hunchback. That's a 4X variant of the Hunchback. So that is... I'm not sure what weaponry that's running, but it is a ballistic and several non-ballistic weapons. I'm not going to sprint the crossbow here. I'm just going to position it here to threaten their helicopter next round. Since we have spawn protection, there's no point. But we can move our rifleman up over this way. That'll be fine for the moment. Next up is our jerry-rig demolisher, and I'd like to take that as far out over this direction as we can. We're just kind of splitting our forces and hitting them from 2 angles here. Okay. They definitely have something else out there. All of these units had moved, and they just moved. So we know that for an absolute fact. This isn't shocking, necessarily. I actually maybe should have sent the Epimetheus this way.
Standing by.
But we can send the Devastator out over here. That's fine. Okay, so the Devastator moves on out, and next up is going to be our Black Knight. I'm going to send the Black Knight this direction.
On the move.
For now, that looks okay. And next up is going to be our Bandersnatch, which that's going to head out over here.
On the move. Full speed.
There we go. And the Nidhogg is going to accelerate as much as it can. We're going to put that right up over here.
No shooting, just running.
We know for a fact there are additional enemies out there. The only question is where. So the LRM carrier, I'm just going to put about here. We're going to want to use the SAM missiles to shoot down that helicopter as quick as we can. So we'll just brace that for the time being. Okay, so next up, they're going to move their helicopter, probably before we move anything else. They have 2 Phase 22 movers. Okay, so one is the helicopter, and one is not any of these units. Okay, where are those additional units at? They have to be around somewhere. There goes the Vespa, positioning out over here. Getting a lot of hits on our Devastator, but for the moment, our Devastator is okay. So who's their other Phase 22 mover? Ah, up over here. I gotcha. So there's a Weevil there, and we also see what looks like a Jaeger. Yeah, that's a Jaeger. Okay, so that's not a big threat. There's a Phase 18 mover up here as well. That's that Jaeger. Sure. Seems fine.
How can I help?
So our Crossbow X is going to position up over here. I want to fire on that Vespa with probably improved MRMs here. Yeah, it's a little hard to hit, but I think that we take this shot. We could easily shoot it down. That wasn't the best missiles in the world, but we did get a few hits there. And we softened up the Vespa a little bit. Okay, next up is going to be the Hunchback. And we'll see what armament it has, maybe. So it walks on up. It fires on our Crossbow X. Incendiary AC-20. Okay, noted. So that's not the worst thing in the world. Next up is going to be a unit that we don't see. So that'll be one of the 2 up here that we don't see yet. What is that? A Bandersnatch. Okay. Firing on our Epimetheus, getting very little done. That seems absolutely okay. I'm not too concerned about that. So next we're going to utilize our crossbow here. Now this is our SAM crossbow, and I would like to get this into a direct LOS of this Vespa. And actually there is one, remarkably, out over here. Do it. So we're going to use our SAM missiles here to fire on the Vespa, and this could very easily shoot down the Vespa. We'll see what happens with it. That looks good. I think it's gone. Oh yeah, fantastic. One Vespa flying off into the absolute unknown. Fantastic. So lethal damage there. That is great. Next up is our Black Knight. The Black Knight is going to round this corner, and we're going to fire on this Lynx.
On the way.
I don't know if we fire this in binary mode or in X2 mode. I think given the hit odds here, X2 mode is probably slightly safer. So let's light up this Lynx and do a little bit of armor damage to it. Sadly, we missed both of those binary laser shots, so heavy on the little bit on that Lynx armor damage. That was not a great shot. This thing does have 7 evasive, though. Now, it's moving right now, so we'll see what it decides to do here. It does have a target in our Black Knight, and that's absolutely fine if it takes that. Firing indirect on our Bandersnatch here. Getting a fair number of hits there, though.
Reporting major armor loss.
Okay. So, was that their Bandersnatch? I'm not sure who their Phase 16... No, that was their LRM carrier. Okay, that LRM carrier is going to be a pretty high priority, especially since it didn't move there. We can fire indirect on that. What is this? I didn't see what unit that was. But it fired indirect on our Bandersnatch and did not get much done there. So what unit was that? It's a quick draw? Okay.
Commander.
So our Marauder is going to want to head around this direction. Absolutely take this position.
On the move.
And let's fire on this Lynx. Honestly, if we were to take down this building, that's not the worst thing. But let's light this guy up a bit. Hit odds are not the best, but let's see what we can do. Decent damage there from the autocannons. I like it. And we tagged him. So now the Lynx is going to move. It now has 3 targets it can fire at. So let's see how it chooses. It's got that ERPPC. It could theoretically do a decent amount of damage. It actually heads off over this way and fires at our Devastator. It gets some damage dealt there,
Much armor left in that location.
but the Devastator will be able to respond to that quite soon.
Waiting for order.
So I want to take the Nidhogg out this direction. I want to use the Nidhogg to engage these guys up here. For the time being, we can position the Nidhogg here.
All right, let's see what this thing can do.
And we can look to fire on one of these guys out over here. Probably the Lynx with just the Snubnose, or do we want to fire like the AoE Rocket 10s? I kind of want to save those for the other lands. I'm just going to fire the Snubnose here. And we missed it. Sad. 71% hit chance there. Very, very sad. Okay, so next up is going to be our Jerry-Rig Demolisher. I want this guy to move up to here, and I'm absolutely going to fire iRocket 10s at this Lynx. Okay, let's get all of this cranked on up, and we're going to fire on this guy as much as we possibly can. We're going to do some stray shotting. We triggered some AMS out of the LRM carrier there. That's noted. Okay, fantastic. That went pretty well, all things considered. The Epimetheus is going to head up this direction. It doesn't get into range of anything, but it does make it to the road. So we'll just position that there for now. Next up is our Grasshopper, which is going to head on up over here as well. Once again, it doesn't get into range of anything.
How's it going?
Our Rifleman can position, I'm thinking about here or so. Yeah, that'll block for the Devastator, although we're going to move the Devastator very shortly. This is obstructed LOS. We might take down this building. That's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, light him up. Wow, that didn't go very well at all. Well, we did get a structure exposure there, and we took down this building. Not like that's very important. Okay, so next up is our LRM carrier. The LRM carrier I'm going to position here, and we are going to be firing on their LRM carrier. Looks like incendiary missiles. Light him up.
Here we go.
So that was mostly to soften him a little bit and to trigger his AMS again. So that is a very good thing there. Next up is going to be our Bandersnatch. And the Bandersnatch is going to step slightly forward here, and we're going to fire on that LRM carrier. Hit odds here are not fantastic due to no visuals. Okay. Well, we don't have visuals on any of those. So let's fire on the LRM carrier and see what we can get done there. I'd like to see that LRM carrier cease to exist very soon. But for the time being, there's not so much we can do about that. So the Devastator wants to get turned around here, right? We could position it here and face it like this.
On my way.
So that this way its strong side is facing out here. And we can fire on that Lynx. So we'll do what we can here. I'm not expecting a huge amount of damage here.
Here it comes.
Okay, we took down another building there, and a tiny, tiny amount of damage into that Lynx. It's next round that we're really going to be able to start coming forward here. The question is, how do we roll on initiative? Well, they have a phase 25 mover, and it looks like broadly they're going to move before us. That's okay. We'll see what happens with the Devastator, but it should be relatively fine. So that Weevil is closing in a little bit, actually quite a bit. Phase 21 mover, that is going to be another unit out over here. That's fine. That's a Jaeger heading forward, and not really doing anything of note. Phase 18 now is going to be this Hunchback. So we'll see what that decides to do here. This Hunchback did take some stray shot damage that was intended for the Lynx. But I would have preferred it if we had been able to hit a little bit better last round. Unfortunately, we just didn't hit very well. The Hunchback steps forward, probably goes for, the Bandersnatch. I expected him to go for the Devastator there.
My armor's getting stripped off.
Okay, so that's fine. Next up is going to be a phase 18 mover, which is somebody out over here. Probably going to be that Quick Draw, if I had to guess. Yes. That's exactly who that is. And he is... Yeah, those aren't local government colors on those units. That's fine. Those are local government units, so... Sure. Whatever. It's okay. We don't care about this LRM-5. That is irrelevant to us. The Black Knight really, really doesn't care about that damage. So the Crossbow X is going to step around to here. We're going to hit the front arc on this Hunchback. Our heat is fairly high here. We're going to have to not fire some of these mediums. Actually, why is our heat so high here? Oh, the incendiary AC-20. Right. Okay. We'll accept this. We're just going to take the MRM hit.
Target confirmed.
That was a lot of damage to that Hunchback. Okay. And we didn't shut down, so that's good. Next up is phase 17. So they have a few movers left. We are mostly moving after them, but the Bandersnatch is going to move now. Then they have a phase 15 and a phase 16 mover, but they have nearly all moved this round. So they're fighting on our riflemen. Okay, that's wonderful. We really like that. That's great.
I'm showing minor damage.
And now we get to move our crossbow. So the crossbow is going to position here. I'm going to lob some LRMs at this LRM carrier. I would like to see that LRM carrier not get to fire again, but I doubt that's going to be the case here.
Have some of this.
Structure exposure, explosion redirections, but unfortunately the LRM carrier is actually still alive there. Barely, but it is still alive. It did end up losing some of its ammunition, but it still got plenty of other ammo. So it fires on our Bandersnatch. Structure exposure. Okay. That's just in that arm, so we lose an ER medium laser bright bloom. Okay, I'm not too concerned about that. I'm going to take our Grasshopper forward here, and the Grasshopper is going to honestly look to finish this LRM carrier, I think. Yeah, that's the goal here. We're going to eliminate the LRM carrier. I don't want to have to deal with that anymore. So that is gone. Next up, of course, is going to be that Lynx and the Hunchback. So we'll need to deal with both of those. But the Lynx hasn't moved yet. We'll see what it does here. I'm not too concerned about the arm of that Bandersnatch. It's reasonably fine. But the fact that they've managed to get a structure exposure that quickly, indirect, is kind of wild. No doubt about that. We'll just need to turn our Bandersnatch, right? That'll be the idea. So the Lynx moves up, probably going for the Bandersnatch again. Rifleman. We'll take it. That's absolutely fine. So that's not a concern at all. Both of those mechs will likely be gone after this round. So we're going to move up our Black Knight. I don't think we get LOS over on this side right now, but we're just advancing over here.
to go.
Okay, same story with the Epimetheus. We're going to advance up
Affirmative.
over this way. And
Waiting
next
for
up is
order.
our rifleman. I'm going to position the rifleman about right here. We can fire on the Lynx or on the Hunchback. I kind of want to go for the kill on that Hunchback. I don't like that incendiary AC-20. So let's light this guy up. That's a structure exposure. Beautiful. And we did get a little bit of internal damage there. He also loses his evasive. So that Hunchback is not long for this world. Our Marauder is going to move up. We don't get any LOS here due to these buildings, but that's okay.
Standing by.
Our Bandersnatch absolutely needs to turn to protect its left-hand side. This is not as turned as I would like it to be. So we're just going to turn it about like this for now to protect that left side. And I'm going to fire on this Hunchback. We're going for the kill on it. We're not going to fire the medium lasers.
Aye, aye.
Okay. So that's one very, very dead Hunchback. Looks good. And now all that's left over here is that Lynx.
Enemy down.
So that's perfect. Next up is going to be our jerry-rig demolisher. I want to take that around to the front arc over here. This is a little too close, I think, for the heavy rifles, but it's not too bad, actually. So we're going to fire all of our machine guns here. We're just crit fishing at this point. Okay, we got a little bit of armor damage there. We got a head hit. That wasn't ideal by any means, but that guy is definitely weakening. Let's put our Devastator about... I guess here is fine.
Location
We'll put our
confirmed.
Devastator there for the moment and light up this Lynx. Sadly, we missed one of those autocannons, but we did manage to get a lot of armor damage dealt to that Lynx. It will not last very much longer, that's for sure. Next up is our Nidhogg, and I want the Nidhogg to be heading out this direction. Now, we can start actually dropping our bombs here, and I kind of want to do that. From about this position, we can drop our bomb on the Bandersnatch and have decent hit odds here. So that's absolutely great. Are we better off in Arrow 4 mode? No, we are not. I'm going to really light up this Bandersnatch here. We'll also do some splash damage out over here.
Target acquired.
Excellent. That did a lot of damage to both of these
Reporting.
mechs.
Critical hit.
So that is perfect.
I've got multiple weapons with no ammo.
Well, yeah, obviously. But the Bandersnatch and the Weevil both took extraordinarily significant damage there. Now, I'm going to position our LRM carrier here.
Acknowledge, Commander.
And I'm not going to fire Incendiary, I don't think, at this Lynx. I think... Well, actually, Incendiary is probably fine to use here. Yeah, let's use our last round of Incendiary and see if we can finish off this Lynx. Engine crit, double heat sink destruction, plus 7 heat. That wasn't great by any means. I would really like it if that Lynx was gone. Sadly, it survived a lot here. No doubt about that, but it will not last much longer. Okay, it moves after our Crossbow X, so we should be fine here. Next up is the Phase 21 mover of this Weevil, and let's see what that ends up doing. Positioning here with only 2 evasive.
How's it going?
That seems like a target for our crossbow. So I'm going to move the crossbow up here, and we can lob some missiles at this Weevil. Odds are okay that we manage to at least do a decent amount of damage. This is side arc. Maybe we're better off hitting the Bandersnatch here? No. The answer is no, we are not. Okay. So we're going to fire at the Weevil. I'm not expecting too much out of that, but we'll see about getting a little bit of internal damage dealt. That looks good for now. And next up is going to be our Grasshopper. Now, the Grasshopper is moving in on the side arc of this Lynx, and the Lynx is not going to be very happy about this flank.
Firing all weapons.
Sadly, we missed our autocannon, but we did a fair amount of internal damage there. We panicked the Lynx, but we did not make it unsteady. If we hadn't have missed that autocannon on almost 70% hit odds there, it would have been good, but sadly we did. So next up is going to be this Jaeger, which is probably going to try to shoot at our Nidhogg. Yeah, that's expected. He didn't get a lot done there, though, which is also expected. So that seems absolutely fine. Next up is going to be our Crossbow X, and that is going to move in, and we're going to melee this Lynx. Actually, we can only punch the links. Okay, I don't love it then. Let's just position here for now and hit the links in this side arc. I don't think we need to fire improved MRMs here. We're just going to do something like this. Yeah, our overheat is getting up there. No doubt about that. And he's gone. So that's great. Our overheat is getting up there. We might see the crossbow X shut down here. It did not. Okay, that's excellent. So next up is, of course, the enemy allied forces. And this is going to be their quick draw. We'll see what that ends up doing. Is it going to jump again? If it jumps like here, I would love that. I doubt it will. Surely it will. Yeah, it jumps out over here, firing indirect on our Black Knight. I really don't care. It can do that all at once.
I laugh at your puny attack.
Indeed. That is the correct answer there. So now the Bandersnatch is going to move, and we've done a significant amount of armor damage to that Bandersnatch. So it just steps forward and just kind of hides and fires rear arc on our Grasshopper. Okay, that's fine. No problem whatsoever there. I'm completely okay with that. So next up is going to be our Bandersnatch, and that is going to step forward, and we'll just position it about here. We might need to give this a rest turn. I'm wondering what our hit odds on this Weevil are. 8.1%. Yeah, I'm going to give it a rest turn here and just sink off some heat. Okay, that'll be fine. And our Marauder wants to head as forward over here as it can. It wants to really start to engage over there.
Yes, Commander.
The Rifleman is mostly going to be sinking heat this round. There we go. And just stepping slightly forward. Now for the Nidhogg. I would like it if the Nidhogg would position about here or so.
Understood.
There we go. And I'm going to continue to hit, I think, the Weevil here. Although the side arc on the Bandersnatch is maybe not bad, and we just splash damage the Weevil. Weevil's facing this way. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the Bandersnatch.
Roger that. Target confirmed.
So that was an arm destruction there. We did a lot of damage to that Bandersnatch. Perfect.
I've got multiple weapons with no ammo.
And the Weevil took some splash damage as well. So it has very little left. Next up is our Jerry-Rig Demolisher. This is in a good state to engage. So we're going to move that up, and that's probably going to come around over here next round. That seems okay. And our Black Knight is going to just head off over here. Maybe we head up the ramp with our Black Knight.
Move.
Yeah, that's probably not probably not a terrible idea. Not the worst idea I've ever had. The Devastator is going to head up over here. We don't really want to get the Devastator too engaged here, but we'll see what we end up finding. So the Epimetheus is just going to come around over here for now. Beautiful. And then, of course, we've got our LRM carrier, which I'm going to move up this way, and I want to lob additional missiles at the Weevil, probably. Slightly higher hit odds on the Bandersnatch, but I want to hit the Weevil. So we're going to fire this in standard mode. And we'll just see what we get done here. If we leg this guy, that would be great. That was a torso destruction. And we did make him unsteady, so there is that. Oh, he ejects. Perfect. That is absolutely great. So next round, we can definitely continue to engage these. We're closing in nicely. Okay, phase 25. So it's going to be our crossbow X that moves first. Now, this guy's way back, or no, this is our regular crossbow. This guy's way back here. I'm going to position it here. We're probably going to end up firing on the Bandersnatch. Hit odds are actually a little bit higher on the Jaeger, so we can start softening up his frontal armor. That'll be fine.
Engage and target.
Yeah, that'll do. The Jaeger is, of course, a decent anti-air mech, and that is something we'll need to consider. The Crossbow X is overheated and is going to attempt to step forward, but it's not going to be super successful at that. So the Jaeger moves next, and it's almost certainly going to shoot at our Nidhogg. It didn't fire its autocannons there, just some pulse lasers. Okay,
Damage is minor, Commander.
that's reasonably fine. I don't mind that at all. So next up is our Grasshopper, which is going to head as up here as it can, which is not super up here, but we'll go up that way. LOS is being a bit of a problem for us with engaging these guys, of course. Next up is going to be the quick draw, and the quick draw is currently almost unsteady. We hit it with one thing, and it is unsteady. Oh. It has LOS over here. Well, it's turbo dead. Okay, that sounds good. No problem whatsoever there, and the Bandersnatch is wanting to just position about here. I want to make the Grasshopper unsteady here, or rather the Quick Draw unsteady here. All we need to do is hit this with one missile. And there it is. So he loses all of his evasive, and that is now an excellent target for these mechs over here. Next up is going to be the Marauder, or rather the Bandersnatch, which is significantly damaged, and it chooses to fire on our Black Knight. I really don't care about that. Okay.
System's holding.
It can do that all at once. So next up is our Rifleman. The Rifleman's not going to... Actually, it does get LOS here, remarkably. It is interrupted LOS, but I'm going to take this shot.
Got it.
Nice. A very solid hit in that side arc, chunking down that Quick Draw's armor significantly over there. Next up is our Black Knight. I would like to take the Black Knight up over here. Who do we want to go for, the Jaeger or the Quick Draw? I feel like the Quick Draw is going to be easier for our other mechs to hit, so I'm going to fire in binary mode on this Jaeger. I think we missed the binary laser there. That's very sad. But it was worth a try. The Epimetheus is going to close in over here, and this is at the very least going to be a knockdown on this Quick Draw. Bare minimum. That is a lot of damage into the Quick Draw, no doubt about that. He got a head hit in there, too. So the Quick Draw is knocked down, and it's not going to survive another salvo. That seems good. There is an injury resistance there. Okay, noted.
I'm receiving you.
Our Devastator could move up over this way and try to finish the job. I don't necessarily love this LOS. I'm just going to park it here for now, and we'll engage it next round.
Commander.
Now, our Jerry-Rig Demolisher, that can position right up over here. We don't get a clear LOS. It's obstructed. But I'm going to fire on this Jaeger regardless. Light him up. So a little bit of damage into the Jaeger there. It's not the most amount, but that's okay. The Marauder can advance out over here and definitely finish off this Quick Draw. I don't see a scenario where the Quick Draw survives this. He's just gone.
Well done.
Fantastic.
Here we go.
So next up, of course, we've got the Bandersnatch, which is heavily damaged, and we have the Jaeger. Now, I'd like to move our Nidhogg like so, and I'm going to continue to fire bombs on this Jaeger. Now, this is going to be into the rear arc. We'll see what ends up happening here, and I guess we could turn on our AMS. Not like that's going to do anything. Okay, so we got a structure exposure there and did some internal damage to that Jaeger. It's actually very low. Okay, that seems good. So our LRM carrier can just make its way out over this way. Who do we want to shoot at? The Jaeger? 24.8, or the Bandersnatch, 17.4. The Jaeger is the obvious choice. This will be side arc in its weakened side. Excellent. So we get some armor shred there. Sounds good. And next round, I think we can probably kill both of these units in this round. Okay, so phase 17 for both of these.
Orders.
Noted. Our Crossbow X is our MRM boat, and that's not going to get LOS. So we're just going to close in a little bit here. Next up is our Crossbow, which is, of course, our LRM boat. And let's just see what hit odds are best on. It is the Jaeger. Okay, so we're going to soften up his armor in this side arc a little bit more. ER large laser destruction there. So that's solid. And he's also probably unsteady from that. Not quite. Okay. So that's fine. Our LRM carrier can finish the job on that front. So we're going to move this guy up. Bare minimum, this Jaeger will be unsteady. Bare minimum. Okay. That wasn't a great shot, but he is indeed unsteady. So next up is our Epimetheus. Do we manage to get an LOS over here? Well, we're pretty overheated on it, so the answer is no, we can't really move forward. We can sink our heat here, but that's okay. Our Marauder might well be able to. Yes, the Marauder absolutely gets a really clear shot on this Jaeger's side arc, and this is the weakened side arc. So we did a lot of damage to it, but a lot of that stray shot into the building behind him, but we still took him out. Beautiful. So now all that's left is this Bandersnatch. We'll see what he decides to do here. Okay. Seems ambitious. That's not a problem whatsoever. The Marauder's armor is absolutely fine there. So our Grasshopper can move up here. Do we get LOS? We do not. Okay, we'll just position it here. And next up is going to be our Nidhogg. Do we want to hit the rear arc of this Bandersnatch? To be honest, no, we don't. So I'm going to move the Nidhogg somewhere around here. And we'll just turn and fire front arc on this Bandersnatch. That'll be fine. We'll see what we get done here.
Affirmative. I am out of short
That was
range
mostly armor damage. But he has very little armor left in that front arc. So that sounds good.
ready.
Next up is our Black Knight, which is just going to position here, and we're going to rake that front arc with as many lasers as we can. Missing the binary laser again, sadly. We do crit the LBX AC-10 twice there, but that was not ideal. We've had some awkward rolls here as far as where our shots are going, but it's not the end of the world, of course. That is just part of the game. So we're going to move our jerry-rig demolisher up here, and this poor Bandersnatch. Yep. I believe he might have died to crits there. He did indeed. Fantastic. So that poor Bandersnatch, right? So we've contacted our Steiner rep to find out why we weren't notified about the second lance. But to be honest, I always knew that second lance was there. I just didn't know where. So that's absolutely okay. No problem whatsoever there. We'll get our payment, and we did lose an ER medium laser bright bloom to just indirect fire, which is very sad, but it's not the end of the world by any means. We can certainly replace an ER medium laser. I'm not sure if we've got a bright bloom specifically in stock, but we don't need to have a specific bright bloom in that slot. So let's see what we've got for salvage here. Okay. Yep, the Bandersnatch definitely took a little damage there. Light AC-20, diverse optics medium laser. There's also this X-Pulse laser, which, I mean, we wouldn't be able to fit on in terms of tonnage. But I do like X-Pulse lasers. We can take these and see what else we get out of the roulette. That seems okay. Standard fusion engine, ammo AMS. Yeah, that's all okay. No major issues there. So we'll have to get our repairs done. We'll have to get the Bandersnatch repaired, but that's going to take almost nothing to do. It's going to be some armor repair more than anything, and armor just takes time. It's not a little bit of money. Time and money, but we didn't take all that much damage there. That was not too bad. It was a little bit on the long side because they were deployed pretty far away and we had to move quite a long ways to get LOS, but I mean, that's just kind of the way that urban environments go. So there is that. Okay, Yang, let's see what we've got here. This is going to be probably like, my gut is telling me like 120. Let's see what Yang thinks. What do you got, Yang? 129. Okay, that's about right. Definitely ballpark. Okay, let's hop into the mech bay here. We are going to need to cancel the task on the Marauder. Or not on the Marauder, on the Bandersnatch. So we'll cancel that one. That is the majority of that funding, of course. And we'll refit the we'll refit the Bandersnatch. There we go. Because we need to replace that ER medium laser, as well as the shoulder and the lower arm. Okay, so ER medium laser bright bloom, we do have one in stock. In fact, we have two. So that'll be fine. We'll max out that armor, and that will be great. So we'll get that underway. Let's move that up to the top of the queue. That'll be fine. And next episode, we are going to get these repairs done and continue to work through our Argo upgrades. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.